Hi, today I'm joined with Sergey, and here's a good, interesting topic of conversation with regards to when people are searching the AI, maybe ChatGPT, or it could be Gemini, or Claude, or Perplexity. And there's a bit of a debate in the SEO community where does the LLMs only use the metadata, like the meta title and the meta description in, let's say, like Google SERP in the search engine results page, or does it actually open the pages to parse information?
It does actually both. There are different stages of retrieval, and the first stage is when the fanout happens and LLM is fetching a search engine, either Google or Bing, and it gets in return the list of all pages that rank, and it sees only metadata. So it's just website name, page URL, and metadata, meta description, and meta title. If those things are irrelevant to the topic to the fan out that it's trying to get the answer for, it's gonna remove that result. So in the first stage, those meta descriptions and meta titles are super important. That's why it's very important to include something, because I know I myself was doing at some point where I would just leave it blank. And back then it was working. Now it's not. It's better always to include a proper meta description that kind of covers the potential fan out that you want to be relevant for. And so the first step, it's going to analyze your meta description, but then when you move along in the process, that's when after the first stage and the second stage and third stage, that's when LLM is actually checking out your page in the beginning just a little bit, just to see your DOM structure and how stable is the website. But once you pass more stages, the more intense analysis your page is going to get.
So let's say it does qualify and they say, okay, we want to try to get more information. We don't just want to use the metadata. Does it just pull then like the centerpiece annotation of the page, or will it literally pass the whole content?
On the second stage, after it passed the meta description stage, it gets light skimming. So it checks the DOM structure, it checks the stability of the page, it checks if the page is properly structured, if it's not messy. Then on the next stage, that's when actual parsing happening, and this is when you get complete kind of like analysis of your page, and every section gets every chunk gets analyzed and figured out if it makes sense. But the second stage is also very important. Like if you're not leading with the meaning, the idea is that if you want to be relevant for a certain fan-out query, you need to answer that fan-out query in the first 50, 70 words. If LLM doesn't see that, you don't pass the second stage, and you're not gonna get you're gonna get discarded before you're gonna get to the stage where actual retrieval is gonna happen.
Yeah, and then if it is passing the page, does it read any of like the schema markup, or does it not read any of that part?
Yes, definitely. Schema markup is very important. It's not as important as some people might say. Like it's not a holy grail of semantic SEO or LLM optimization, but it's like a handshake. You making LLM's job much easier by telling it what the context is, what the content is, and you got to be very careful, because if you're gonna have a mismatch, you're actually going to hurt yourself. So if you don't know how to use schema, I would propose not to use it at all. But the idea for schema is that you're making LLM's job easier and therefore cheaper. Like it doesn't have to compute, it doesn't have to spend extra power and compute by analyzing and figuring out your content.
Yeah, and then what about, so obviously you mentioned before the meta description. Now, there's two parts with regards to one page that a lot of SEOs have stopped using. One of them was the meta keywords kind of tab, and the other one was the meta description. Does both of them, or does one of them now start to get crawled with regards to the LLMs? Are you saying now that the meta description is important? Is the meta keywords tag important, or not really?
The only thing what's important about meta description is what kind of meta description is shown on SRP. Uh, Meta keywords, they are irrelevant. They are then architect They think of a past, like they've been working some time ago, very long time ago. Now they're irrelevant, and in LLM era, they also not very relevant.
Yeah, I would have seen whether the LLMs actually called it or not. But with regards to the meta description, a lot of people still say about leaving it blank isn't a bad thing, because if you was to search for a specific query, normally it tries to pull the main part of the page that answer that query that you're doing. So it would be kind of dynamic to what the search is. Or are you saying no, you would prefer to fill in the meta description and have specific terms in there to pass that first phase before it moves on to phase 2 or phase 3?
Yeah, you need to explain to an LLM what exactly is going to be on your page, and sometimes Google does a good job, but do you want to trust it 100% of the time? Uh, Sometimes it might be okay, sometimes it's not. It's not. But if you're gonna hard code it and explain right away whatever the intent is behind the final query in the description, so LLM sees and they say, okay, like this article might be very relevant to this specific query. It's a To me, like it seems like much smarter approach. We can probably test different ones, but I would write something. I would not leave it blank.
Yeah. And then the last question here is to do with, if someone was to do the search and it was to perform a search, let's say within Google. So let's say it was Gemini, it performs the search within Google, and the consensus of the top 10 results is saying almost the same thing. At that point, just by using the meta information, so the meta title, the URL, the meta description, is the times where they don't open the page. So they go, do you know what? I think we've got the answer of what needs to be here. The consensus is all pretty much the same. At that point, they don't open the page and they just then present the answer just from the metadata in the search engine results page.
It depends on the query. If the query is not controversial or not very subjective, it's not gonna even check the actual website. It's just gonna go by the metadata.
Right, okay. And then obviously if it knows the answer, let's say you were saying capital of France, well that is, I'm presuming that's just in their knowledge vault. They won't even perform a search
Yeah, exactly.
like that. They've already got that information. So if they can serve it from the knowledge vault of information of what they have, they'll just serve it from there. If they're not certain, they'll then just do the actual kind of brand search to see what information shows. If it's still this ambiguity and they're uncertain at that point, then they might pass and open specific pages to get the information.
Yeah, exactly. There are actually three kind of like stages, three types of LLM retrieval. The first one is from pre-trained data. Uh, you will never get there, almost like it's impossible to get there, but if the data is there, like it doesn't need to do anything else. It's just gonna extract it quick and easy. Then there is something that's not very difficult to kind of understand. Then might that meta description might be perfectly enough. And then if it actually needs to understand the topic better, and it's subjective topic, then it's gonna fan out and it's gonna analyze everything and it's gonna go through the whole process.
Yeah. So I hope you like the video with regards to how LLMs are parsing information. Are they opening up the pages? Are they just getting the information from the meta of the search engine results page, or is it in the knowledge vault? We hope you like the video, and thank you very much for having us, Sergey.